Welcome to In Her Voice. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am passionate about helping women live authentically by listening to their inner voice. Get ready to be inspired by women of all walks of life that have set aside their should-bes and not good enoughs and are standing in their true voice, the voice of wisdom that each and every one of us has inside. Hey, you guys, this is Kelly, and I am so excited that you decided to join me today for this solo episode of In Her Voice. And for you regular listeners of In Her Voice, first of all, thank you for listening regularly. Thank you for coming and getting your cup filled by the guests that I have on the podcast and by me. I am just so grateful. And I just want to let you know the solo episodes have not gone away. I just needed a little break. And instead of really trying to push and get something out that wasn't aligned with where I was in the moment, I decided to take a little break. But here I am, and I've got good stuff for you today, something that's been brewing in me for the past week. And that is, what happens after you say yes? Okay, so let me tell you what I'm talking about. I feel like in the sort of self-care, self-love community at large, and I consider myself to be in that community, there's a big push to say no to things that do not serve you, to say no to things that you're going to resent later, to say no to things that you don't really want to do, but maybe you feel like you should do, right? To get really clear on what you want to be doing in your life. But the next step after you start saying no is to also say yes, to say yes to the things that your heart is asking, to say yes to your inner voice when she says, this is what you need to be doing, to say yes to the scary things, to say yes to your big dreams, to your big vision. And when we start saying yes, things happen. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, is what happens after you say yes. Because I think that when you get to the point where you're ready to say yes, you're really ready, right? You're like, okay, it's been building up for all of this time, and now I'm ready to say yes. And it's so exciting. And you say yes. And then what? Well, one of the first things that you might feel after you say yes is like, holy shit, what did I just do? Oh my God. Oh no. And there's a lot of fear that may come, or anxiety that may come. And that sometimes I think that we feel that before we say yes, but in my experience in working with my clients, there is fear and anxiety after the yes, because that means, okay, I've committed. Now I've got to do it. Now I've got to put myself out there. I have to figure out what are the next steps to take. Because saying yes is just the first step to reaching your goal, to making your dreams become a reality, right? Saying yes to the thing doesn't mean that it's a done deal. And there's a lot of action, and there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of meditating, and there's a lot of anxiety that might come. In fact, probably will come after you say yes. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that, to know that when you say yes and then you feel that anxiety or feel that fear, that's not your body signaling that you made a bad decision. Okay? It could be. And that's where our practice of listening and discerning becomes very important, because we can start to feel the difference between fear, anxiety, this is not for you, or fear, anxiety, this is really going to take you out of your comfort zone, but it absolutely is for you, right? So we have to be in that practice of listening to our inner voice. And then when that fear comes up, we have to acknowledge it for what it is. Yeah, I just took a really big step. Yes, this is going to be scary. Yes, this is going to require me to do things that might feel uncomfortable, that might give me vulnerability headaches or hangovers, as Brene Brown calls them. that might most definitely will actually take me far out of my comfort zone. Okay. So that is one of the very first things that happens after you say yes. One of the next things that happens is you have to start putting inspired action into place. Saying yes to your big dream is just the first step, like I said already, right? Now what is the saying? Now is where the rubber meets the road. I like that saying, right? Because it's like you got to get your wheels down on the ground and you got to make them go forward. And you have to do what it takes and however long it's going to take to do it. And all the while, you have to hold that vision so tightly so your motivation stays high, so your inspiration stays high, so you have the energy and the ability to keep going. And that doesn't mean that you neglect yourself or that you don't take care of yourself, but it does mean making sacrifices. It means choosing hard things now because you know it's going to yield the result that you want down the road. It's easy to make easy choices now. But making easy choices now all of the time is not going to get you where you want to be. And so sometimes that means going to bed early. It means pushing away the plate. It means going to a networking event when you are a total introvert and you hate those things. It means meeting new people, making new connections. It means asking for help. You don't have to do it all on your own. But you do have to come up with a plan, because we talk a lot in vision work about how you have to really get clear on the vision. And when you're working on the vision, the how is not important. And I 100% believe that. 100%. The how can limit the vision. But once the vision is clear and once you've said yes to that, then you do have to come up with a how. And what does that look like? Well, I think a great tool for really getting clear on the steps that it's going to take to get you to where you want to go is to do like a big, huge brain dump. And that's where you sit down with a pad of paper and a pencil, and in no particular order, you write down literally every single thing that comes to your mind that you will need to do. And if it's a big step, you break it down into smaller steps. And depending on your vision, you may have pages and pages, and you know what? That's okay. Don't get overwhelmed by that. Be excited, because then once you have that list, you can start like putting a puzzle together, sort of moving things around, deciding the order that you want to do things in. And then you can start doing the things. And when you break the big steps down into little tiny baby steps, it becomes so much more doable. Let me give you a really good example. Say you wanted to create a course for women that helps them become more peaceful, more aligned, more in tune with what they need. That sounds like a great idea, right? So you say yes to that idea, and then you have your freak out, right? You have the, oh my God, what did I just do? Why did I say yes to this? Totally normal, right? Because you're doing something you've never done before. Next step, honor the freak out, allow it. Remember what the fear is telling you. It's telling you that you are courageous enough to dream big, to go out of your comfort zone, to say yes, to raise your hand and say, yes, I will listen to my inner voice. I will show up in this world in the way I was meant to, and I will serve and I will love and I will do what matters, right? That takes courage. That takes courage. So acknowledge the fear, because you are doing something big, regardless of what your goal looks like. It is big for you. Okay. So feel the freak out, acknowledge that it takes courage to be where you are. Honor yourself, honor your inner voice and what it's asking you to do. Then you do your brain dump. Every single thing that comes to mind that it could possibly do. Do not allow yourself to become overwhelmed by this. This is about getting it out of your head and about creating a plan. And if you have a big step, say your big step is selling the course, right? Well, you have to kind of go backwards from there. Well, you have to make the course. What's backwards from making the course? Researching your material, deciding how you want to present it to people, what format you want, writing the stuff, organizing the copy, deciding how you're going to deliver it. Is it going to be through email? Is it going to be through video? If it is through video, you have to design and plan and create the videos. What goes into making the videos? Well, you have to figure out how you're going to do that. Are you going to do it on your iPhone? Are you going to have someone help you? Are you going to do it on your own? Are you going to just go one cut? Are you going to edit? All of these things, it's just breaking it down to smaller and smaller steps. And if you noticed how I just said all of that, it was total stream of consciousness, right? There was not an order. I would jump from one thing to the next. That's totally fine. That's what a brain dump is like. It's just getting everything out onto paper in a list. I do like a bullet point list. You can do it on the computer if that's helpful to you. Sometimes you can get things out faster if you're typing. And then it's a little bit easier to reorganize, or you can do it out on paper and then reorganize it, type it into the computer again. But at the end of your brain dump, you're going to have a really long list of action steps. I don't even like to think of them as to-dos, like a to-do list, because that just feels so dreary. I like to look at that list and say, these are the actions that are going to take me closer to my goal. And then you've got everything you need to begin a plan for getting there. So you take your brain dump and you just organize it. What is the most important thing for me to be doing right now? What is the most logical first, second, and third step? Right? I'm not going to create my videos before I know what the content is going to be. Okay, I'm not going to create the content until I've decided who my customer is. All of these things, right? There's an order, and you'll see that order as you go through and sift through that list. So these are just a few of the things that come after the yes. And I want you to feel, after listening to this today, I want you to feel empowered and excited about saying yes. Because when you say yes to your inner voice, you are showing up in this world the way you were meant to. You are living your purpose. That's what you're here for. When you say yes to what your inner voice is asking you, isn't that exciting? That's exciting to me, to feel you doing that. And that's what I want more than anything for you. And listen, here's the thing. If you find it hard to say yes to your inner voice, reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's figure out what's keeping you stuck from there. Or maybe you've said yes, but you're having a hard time following through on these next things because of the fear or because of feeling overwhelmed by all of the action that it's going to take. Ask for help. Let me support you in that. If this is really calling out to you and you're thinking, yes, I really could use help in this area. And trust me, I know what that's like. I've asked for help in those same areas. How do you think I learned how to do this? By asking for help. So reach out, set up a discovery call, and we can chat. And we can talk about what it would look like to work one-on-one together to really help you be able to have the courage to say yes, to be able to hear what your inner voice is asking of you, and then to really follow through into inspired action to bring your dreams into reality. So if this is something that you're interested in, all you have to do is go to kellycover.com/discovery call, and I will put the live link in your podcast app. So all you have to do is click right through wherever you're listening to the show notes and click the link, and we'll go right to the discovery call. And you can just fill out a little form and you can set a time to talk with me, 20 minutes. We can talk about what's keeping you stuck and about what it would look like to move forward with my support. It would be totally awesome. So again, that's kellycover.com/discovery call. And I cannot wait to hear what your inner voice is asking of you. And I cannot wait to see you taking inspired action to bring your dreams into reality. This is about you. This is about showing up, and doing what you've been put on this earth to do. Don't ever forget that you are worthy.